Hello everyone, my name is Dana Perrier and I am your grief coach. So thank you for joining for this video. If you are new, welcome. Here we will be discussing all type of experiences and things that we go through as it relates to grief and loss, as it relates to death and dying, as it relates to mourning, grieving, and bereavement. If you have been here before, welcome back. Glad to see you. So today's topic is going to focus on the loss. We often talk about the grief of things, right? The grief of a loved one not being present. But if you have been watching with us, or if this is your first time watching, there are different human experiences that necessarily don't affect just the loss of a life. And today's video is going to focus and address that. So one of the things that I might be changing the word, instead of using the word loss, use either detachment or separation, because I feel as though that loss doesn't really resonate, because I feel like if something is lost, then you can retrieve it, right? You can find it again. But when we deal with this type of loss, there is a separation, right? There's something that has been disjoined, something has been divided, right? And so when I was looking at different words, because I'm like, loss, that it doesn't sit, right? And so I might start using like grief and separation, because when I broke down and looked at the etymology of things, I think it really becomes this separation that takes place, right? So a separation of a person, right? Meaning, and we'll get into different types of those, but it's not just a separation because someone has ascended, transcended from this physical body. So when it comes to a separation, when it comes to being apart, you no longer have the access. You no longer have the possession. You no longer have the routine that you once did when it comes to a loss, when it comes to a separation. And there are different human experiences that affect loss, separation, detachment. It can be something as loss of hair. It can even be a body part. So in terms of like an amputee, that can be a moment of separation and dealing with emotions that are related to grief. Employment. When I say employment, it can be downsizing, right? You have been demoted. It could be a reduction of hours. It could be job duties and responsibilities that have changed. It can be unemployment, and it can very well be retirement. I think that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, how retirement for some people, because it's that separation, right? So especially with baby bloomers, they have been working for 30 plus years, and to go to a routine of going to work, having a camaraderie, having a routine, and that routine being separated, that routine of having it no more. So then when people say like, I get to retire, there's still some feeling of, well, what's next? I have been separated from people and things that I have dedicated my time and my life to for so much of my time. It could be housing, going back into downsizing, going from a house to an apartment can affect one in terms of being detached. Marriage commitments. Marriage commitments. And it's the other way around too. I think a lot of times people look at the loss of a divorce or of a separation between a relationship, but it can also be going into a marriage, going into a commitment, of the loss of having singled life, right? To be someone that has, I don't necessarily have to answer to anybody. I can come and go as I want, but there is this responsibility that now is like, I don't have the ability to just come and go as I want. I don't have the ability to just, if I have an argument, to just kind of like shut down for a period of time. But commitments, relationship commitments is something that you can begin to kind of do some soul searching to see, were you experiencing some grief as a result of that separation of singlehood to marriage and or to commitment. Achievements. One of the things that was said to me is that so many times, well, often in life, that we are taught to accumulate things, but no one teaches us or talks to us when we lose those things. So it's like, go to college, after college, get married and have kids and get the house and get the job and get the income, right? But no one talks to you, or there's not that same support and guidance if you don't go and get the degree. What happens if you don't graduate? What happens if, the marriage goes into a separation or divorce? What happens if you're not able to conceive and have children? What if you lose the house, right? What if the car gets repossessed? So usually those same people that are pushing and, pushing you to have things necessarily aren't always there when those things are no longer in your possession. And then I want to just talk about this loss of trust, which a little bit goes into approval as well. But it was said to me by someone that trust and love, right? They were like, love can endure all things. However, trust is fragile. And I have come to believe that statement to be true, where love can, just go through it, right? The love that you have someone, it can endure. But that trust, once that trust has been broken, and sometimes you get a lot of this in relationships, and when I say relationships, I don't always just mean romantic relationships, because we are constantly in relationship to one another as human beings. So when your trust has been violated, yeah, you can still love them, but you don't trust them. That's a hard thing to kind of build back up to the level that it once was. So what happens when you have experienced this type of detachment, this type of separation, this type of division due to not being connected to those things anymore? The first thing I want to say is you need to have awareness. Have awareness that now you are in this place that you no longer have possession. You no longer have acceptance. And when I say, go back into acceptance, you no longer have access. I'm sorry. When you lose a possession, when you no longer have access, people sometimes want to kind of like think themselves out of it, right? But you have to really become aware and accept that you have been separated, that it has been separated. And that will allow for healing and peace to take place in your life. The next thing I want to talk about is the experience. Experience the feelings. And sometimes experiencing the feelings could very well be your darkest fears, right? It's that those dark fears of, what if I don't have any children, and then what happens to my legacy? The fears could be, what if, with housing, the feeling of my status changing, right? And people thinking one thing about me and I'm thinking something different. You have to feel your feelings and give them the acknowledgement that they deserve. The next thing is see beyond the current situation. Once again, a lot of the things that I'm saying, I know sometimes it's easier said than done. But Allow yourself to dream new dreams. Allow yourself to see things differently. Allow yourself to say like, okay, this is like this now, something else can be. Have that ability to kind of step back. It's almost like that out of body experience and kind of step back. I'm like, okay, those were the dreams then. What are some new dreams that I can dream? What are some new outlooks that I can have? How can I, like that old saying, how can I turn lemons into lemonade? But you want to definitely begin to kind of see things from a different perspective. Begin to see things beyond this current situation. Two more things. Change your new reality. And that goes into the seeing beyond the current situation is how do you create a new reality? As we're in 2020, whenever you're watching this, 2020 has definitely changed our way of living and us having to create that new norm. What is that new normal? What is that new reality? And incorporating new practices, new routines, new directions in order to perhaps get to the same destination, or perhaps your destination is going to change. And lastly, believe in yourself again. Believe in your confidence again. Believe in your body again. Believe in your ability to show up again. Believe in your faith again. I think sometimes and oftentimes we look at the things that we've lost because we had these things, right? Whether they had them for a short time or a long time, but we had them. And sometimes when they kind of fall to the ground, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I gotta like put it all together. And it's like, sometimes you just got to believe, like, if I could do it once, then I can do it again. Or just believing that I have the confidence to go on, that I don't have to act like I'm balancing everything on top of my head and trying to balance stuff on my head and pick everything up. It's okay to be like, you know what, that was that. There's something new that I can walk into. I can find joy again. I can find excitement again. I can find peace again. So that concludes today's session on grief and loss. If this was helpful for you, please share with other individuals. Please provide your comment. And I look forward to speaking with everyone next time. Until we meet again, take care, be safe.